You know what I noticed when I first walked in the building? I was at the fight on Saturday night. It is Tuesday, 8:31 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, February 11th, 2020. I was like, damn, this is a lot of Mongolians up in here. As soon as I walked in the building, I didn't know Allentown, PA, was one of them things you're like, wow, okay, maybe this is why this fight is out here. I guess this is where all the Mongolians be at in PA. They be chilling in Allentown. So, Allentown got a White Castle, too. So, Gary Russell gets a unanimous decision victory. He threw 867 punches, landed 134 to Stoot. Nyambayar is 122 of 707. He's saying that he wants to go directly to 135, and we're going to talk about that. In fact, I want you to hear it from him yourself. I talked to him a couple of times this week, and basically, you can tell like he's frustrated with his managerial or promotional or why he can't get fights, and kind of a slap in the face that him and Santa Cruz won't be fighting, and they've been in the same division for God knows how long. And that Tank Davis is back on Instagram, back on social media, and is looking like he may be getting the Leo Santa Cruz fight still. That it's actually still on the table despite Tank Davis's ongoing legal troubles. Me personally, I think that, Gary Russell should get it. And then Tank Davis take care of his shit and fight the winner. But hey, I'm not the fucking promoter. So regardless, whoever fights, obviously I'm going to cover the shit. But him moving to 135 is going to be interesting. Also, Leo Santa Cruz, who is this? I think he told it to Steve Kim. My bad, Steve. I didn't see your I didn't see your shit. Let me see. Let's go find it. We can do a jump cut, but I don't feel like doing a jump cut. Y'all don't deserve it. So we're going to sit here just like this was a Saturday night. And I can fast forward on my DVR, but I ain't doing it. You don't deserve it. Somebody has said they talked to Leo Santa Cruz. Let's listen in. Please subscribe.
To 112. John McKay sees it 117 to 111. And Judge David Bilosukewik scores the bout 118 to 100. All three in favor of the winner. And still the WBC featherweight champion of the world, Mr. Gary Russell Jr.
Gary Russell Jr. successfully defends his 126-pound title for the fifth time. He improves to 31-1, while Tugstad Nyambayar tastes defeat for the first time. But what a learning experience it will be for the talented Mongolian Olympian. And by the way, it was 118.
I was supposed to talk to the hand rapper of I'm going to call him later on this week, Muscata. I know how to pronounce it now. About getting the interview with Gary Russell. I was going to get it before the fight, but now it seems as though it'll be better, much better after the fight. Let's listen to the post-fight interview.
Very competitive fighter.
First and foremost, man, I want to thank God. I want to thank my father. He's a hell of a trainer. He never showed me any lack of creativity. I want to thank my wife for being a big supporter, help me out, all the way through to my babies. Like I say, Daddy got the W. We put the work in the gym. I'm a perfectionist. I knew we had a very, very tough opponent. I knew he was going to bring his physical best. He had everything to gain and nothing to lose. But we focused, and I'm one of the longest reigning champions for a reason.
What did you think the major difference was in this fight?
Ring generalship, hand speed, boxing IQ. He only had 11 fights. Of course, he was a 2012 Olympian and a silver medalist, but he only had 11 professional fights. I had over 30-some professional fights. I think my experience alone overcame this fight.
How have you managed to do so well over such a long period of time and really fight, so infrequently?
Man, we put the work in the gym. We never take a day off. Like I say, I'll probably be back in the gym next week. I'll be back in the gym training next week, not full throttle like I'm getting ready for a full fight, but I'll definitely be in the gym keeping our wheels turning and staying sharp.
You've talked a lot about guys not wanting to fight you, Santa Cruz, Frampton. What will you do? Do you want Lomachenko again? Will you move up to 130 or 135? What would you like to do with your career now?
Of course. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I want Lomachenko again. That's not for the fans. That's something because I got too much integrity as a man for myself. That's something that I definitely want. We wanted Leo Santa Cruz. We wanted Javante Tank Davis. If we got to move up and wait for these guys to feel as though they have somewhat of advantage to take the fight, then we'll do so.
So what do you think's realistic?
I mean, I think realistically, man, we probably can get Leo Santa Cruz next. If not, I plan on moving up, jumping 2 weight classes, forget 130. I want to go straight to 135 to put myself in one of these weight divisions to fight these guys that I want.
Gary, congratulations. Terrific performance.
Like I say, hold on, one more second. To the people at home, I apologize. I'm definitely from the city. I'm DC homegrown, but I moved to Capitol Heights. Capitol Heights, my city too. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, as long as I got a strap, can't nobody walk down the street.
Tug, thank you, Gary. Tug and Dan.
Before we listen to Tug, that move to 135 is really gonna fuck a lot of shit up. In regards to like a good way, it's going to show like a lot of like balls for him to go to a division where it's like, listen, where's he going to get a shot at? Unless the WB order him to fight Tank Davis, and skip at 130. He said that the only fight he really wanted at 130 was Tevin Farmer, but Tevin Farmer lost to Jojo Diaz, who he beat. No mention of Miguel Burcho. Leo Santa Cruz is there at 126 and 130 holding a significant title. I want the fight to happen, but I understand that there's not a lot of money in Gary Russell versus Leo Santa Cruz. Us hardcore fans, that's the business. They ain't going. Gary Russell may say like, yeah, well, you put him on pay-per-view. Who's gonna put Tank on pay-per-view? Put me on pay-per-view. Tank is a much bigger draw. Even though I don't feel that him versus Leo Santa Cruz is a very good sell on pay-per-view, but free TV can't compensate the money for those guys fighting each other. Fox can and Showtime can. It's not in the budget. I was shocked. Once again, I say it all the time. I was shocked that we got Danny Garcia versus Sean Porter on regular Showtime. Some extra money came from somewhere. Because I'm pretty sure Showtime, maybe they did foot the whole bill. Because if you look at Showtime's schedule, even back then it was starting to, maybe they had extra money in the budget, but who knows. But in this case, Leo Santa Cruz versus Gary Russell, where would they put it? Have to be in LA, right? You got to maximize off of, like something. You got to be like, listen, we got the Mexican Leo Santa Cruz versus, Gary Russell. I don't know. It's a confusing situation, but one thing for sure is Gary Russell can't afford any more layoffs, man. I want to see him in significant fights. And as far as the Lomachenko fight goes, the politics up there. Lomachenko's WBC franchise champion. So because of his clout at 126, if Gary Russell was to drop his WBC and officially campaign at 135, I'm pretty sure the WBC will look out and give him a very favorable ranking, possibly order him to be the next mandatory after Javier Fortuna, Luke Campbell fight Devin Haney if Devin Haney don't move up. If Devin Haney does move up, who Gary Russell been name dropping to 140, then that'll create a faster path for Gary Russell to possibly get a Javier Fortuna, Luke Campbell winner. Maybe he'll have to fight a Yvonne Mendy. You got guys like, Ryan Garcia's up there who's fighting this Friday. It's a very deep division, but it's ruled by the guy who beat him in Lomachenko, and you got Teofimo Lopez. They're both supposed to be fighting in May on pay-per-view, and there's questions on about how well that would do. Pay-per-views everywhere. Jeez. Pay-per-views everywhere. All over the place. And 126, where he's currently champion, you got Shakur Stevenson taking on Miguel Mariaga in March. You got Josh Warrington, whose next fight is going to be announced soon. Then it's expected for Warrington and Shakur to fight possibly over in the UK. If Leo Santa Cruz finally vacates his 126, Kanju should be elevated unless the WBA try to pull some old bullshit. Claudio Marrero just lost that WBA. That gold title don't even count. Just lost to Kid Galahad, who's the next IBF mandatory. So it's just all confusing. All too many belts. And Leo Santa Cruz diamond belt don't count that. Tug was Gary Russell's WBC mandatory. Here, let's listen to him before we go. I know I just hit you with a whole bunch of information out of nowhere, man. But, you know, it's rough out here in this fucking boxing rankings world. You know, crazy shit be going on too. But I'm your guy.
And he will interpret for us in Mongolian. What's your assessment of how you fought this evening against Gary?
It wasn't my night, so he was a better man tonight.
He pointed to the experience factor. Do you think that was just the biggest difference? You had 11 fights, and he's had so many more.
I didn't do my work tonight, so it was I didn't do a good job. He was a great champion against a great champion.
What do you think you learned from this evening? Because your future certainly is very bright.
What did you learn in this user chain? No, I was just waiting for him, and I made a little mistake that I was just waiting for him during the fight. So, but he wants the rematch immediately if he wants.
Final thought: did you have any idea there were so many Mongolian people here in Allentown, Pennsylvania?
I sure as hell didn't. They were everywhere.
Thank you for the Mongolian fans coming out tonight, and he's great for Mongolians.
Thank you. Tremendous performance. Okay, Mauro, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. And indeed, Mongolian representatives coming out strong tonight, but also Gary Russell Jr.
Yeah, man, there was Mongolians everywhere. Like, it was like literally like little Mongolia. I'm going to say, and I was scanning the crowd, that the crowd was probably like, damn, is that racially insensitive or bigotry? No, I'm not going to say what I was going to originally say. I hope I'm not racisms. I wasn't going to say it. I was, but no, I think it would be more, okay, well, I was thinking about South Park, all right? That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, yeah, that was like little Mongolia up in there. You know, and I'm not going to say it was all Mongolian, like Asian. A whole bunch of people of Asian descent. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say, Asian descent. That's the, you know, the PC way to say it. I'm seeing Asian descent. Anyway, I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. You know, he's saying that did he say, I did an interview earlier this week, I think he said there's a date lined up for May or something. They're trying to get back out there, but who's it going to be in May? And at what division? So, interesting story, man. And normally, he usually always fights in May, but he's actually on a good track. He fought in May, fought in February. You know, so for Gary Russell to fight 2 times in 3 months, let's see. To be continued. By the way, Tug's stock has risen. He can learn from this fight. You know, pick it up a little earlier next time. It's going to be interesting to see who he fights next as well in the 126-pound division. After all, he could be a future WBC 126-pound champion if you look at the current ranking. So say, for example, if he put himself in a position, right, if Gary Russell decides to move up, vacate, and Leo Santa Cruz is gone, then look at the top 5. I mean, look. You know, he may be, like, he just lost. Kid Galahad is right. Yo, it's going to get interesting if Gary Russell moves up. It's going to get interesting. Anyway, I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. We cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe.